What's up, y'all? No doubt. Well, y'all seen the little trailer here, See Color Outside the Lines. I did that film about, I guess about 3 years ago. It was, I was in I guess a crossroad in my career where I was like, I want to stop tattooing. You know, I had been tattooing at that point at 20 years. And I reflect back how I got started. It was a couple of friends of mine. We were sitting in a was donating plasma. We was broke. I was living in the projects, so we had to donate some plasma. We had a plan like rob the pizza man or donate some plasma. Couple of my homeboys robbed the pizza man, and me and my homeboys went to donate some plasma. The first question was like, "Do you have any tattoos?" I was 17 at the time. I was thinking about getting a tattoo, and I was just like, "Wow, that's the second time that word come up today." And I don't know how. I'm 40 years old, so I was 17. I was like 92. So it was like no one in my community, in the black community in Asheville, North Carolina, had a tattoo. Most people didn't even know what a tattoo was in my community at that time. So I was like, yo, that's weird. So I donated my plasma. Didn't have any money to go home, so we walked like an hour home and got some donuts and stuff like that. And I got back to my apartment in Erskine Street projects. I was living at that time. I had a daughter at the time. I was a teenage father. And I was sitting there holding my daughter, and one of my best friends came in. We was in trouble, got in trouble in high school for stealing some purses. And they sent him off the Job Corps. And he came back that day with this tattoo on his arm, and he had 100%. And he was like, I was like, dang, man, I thought it was the hardest shit I ever seen in my life. I was like, oh, man, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. And I was like, yo, show me how to do this thing, man. And he was like, yo, you got some thread and stuff? I was broke, so I was still sewing, like holes up in my socks and shit. So I got some thread and needles and stuff. And he showed me how to do this gel style of tattooing called, it's picking. It's a pick thing. You wrap your needle around your little thread and you just poke. And he showed me how to do it. I went in the bathroom mirror, and I was like, yo, man, this got to be a sign, man. Plasma person, was talking about a tattoo. You come in, got to be a sign of greatness, something. I don't know. So I went in this mirror, and I tattooed an ankh on my arm, And I walked outside, and everybody was like, man, why you tattoo that devil shit on you, man? I was like, yo, this is life. This is the ankh, It was like, oh, man, that's some devil stuff, man. So I was like, oh, shit, I'm about to get ridiculed. I'm about to be the outcast already. So I did this form of tattooing, and the next day, a friend of mine was like, yo, I want one. I want one. And at this time, we was listening to, excuse my language, we listened to NWA Niggas for Life album, and I never forget it. The song came on, was in there, was listening to, I'm not going to tell you the songs, I'm not going to say that. It's ladies here. But, we listened to NWA, and the first tattoo I did on my friend was NWA, Nigga for Life. He got that on his arm, God bless his soul, he's not here today. But after that, I started doing a whole bunch of NWA tattoos. And then after that, it was Onyx. Remember, everybody was getting only like rapper stuff then, like Naughty by Nature, Onyx, NWA, you know what I'm saying? Public Enemy logo. And just imagine trying to do a Public Enemy logo with a needle and thread poking this thing one at a time. So I had to come up with a different way a little faster way to do it, because at this time I was making, like $12, $15 a tattoo. I was like, okay, I can get some Pampers, I can get some milk. That's my whole entire goal of that time, was like getting some Similac and baby wipes and stuff like that. That was it, you know? So I was like, yo, I got enough to get some Pampers today. My baby mom not gonna cuss me out, you know, calling me, you know, she was like, you ain't nothing. You can't even, you know? So I was like, I'm hungry now. I'm thirsty. I want it all now, you know? And so I went to this project called Pisgah View. If you're familiar with Asheville, North Carolina, it's this project called Pisgah View, and it oversees the Biltmore House. And we're just weird, you know, you can see the big, pretty mansion and rich people, but you live in the projects and you can see this. And I used to see it every day, but, you know, a lot of people just ignored it, but that was my motivation. You know, like, one day I'm going to be able to go there without being in a field trip. I'm going to go there and I can, you know, enjoy myself, you know. I haven't been back yet, but I'm going to go. I am going to go. But, I went to this guy. It was this guy. His name was Eric. He was known for smoking crack, you know, but he did tattoos for a really low price, and it was like $20. And I was like, they were like, yo, he doing it with the machine, man. He gonna take you out of business. I was like, well, I'm gonna get him to do a tattoo on me. So I looked at him. He did this tattoo on me, and this tattoo is so stupid. But it was like a skull with 187. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought I was like gangster at the time. You know, I was like, hey man, I'm about to, you know, on some stupid shit. But I got this 187 tattooed on my arm, and I looked at him. Do the tattoo the whole entire time. And I thought he had like a real tattoo machine. All he had was like I think like an engine from a hairdryer and a pen and something. But it was enough for me as an artist to look at this machine and how it was made while he was tattooing me. And it took like 2 hours. And the whole entire time, I didn't care about the tattoo. I was just looking at mechanics of this machine. I got home. I tore up a hairdryer. I got cussed out. You know, got me some pens and did all this stuff, and I made my first tattoo machine. And of course, before I did it on anybody, I tattooed myself, just to see if I can get it to work. And then my friends let me do them, you know, do their tattoos. And then give me some, I'm only 17, 18 at this time. So, you know, at this time, I was like 102 pounds. I never wore a T-shirt, never wore a shirt, period. I was just in the hood, you know, just never wore a shirt. So I was showing all my tattoos off, man, the little stuff I had on me at the time. And, you know, and everybody was like, man, you a crazy dude. And I was like, nobody really feeling me, you know, on this thing, you know, this culture, you know. And I remember Jodeci video came out, and I think like Devontae or somebody had a tattoo. You know, I was like, oh, it's on now, you know, you know, uh-oh. And then Trish Barnard by Nature had his tattoo, and then that kind of bumped it up a little bit. And at the time, the culture was still new, and I was still dibbling in the streets a little bit to make income. And I ended up catching this case, and I was like, oh man, I'm about to go to prison. And luckily, when I got in front of the judge, she was like, I know you, dude. You got talent. I remember you painted my daughter's beauty salon mural. I was doing murals and stuff at the time, too. She was like, you got so much talent. Why are you wasting your time on the streets? And I had to kind of think quick on my toes. I was like, yo, I was just trying to hustle and make some money so I can go to college. And the judge was like, yo, okay, you got 5 months to get into school and we'll make a deal. And I was like, cool. So I was looking at I think one of the rap shows, and Art Institute of Atlanta commercial came on. And I was like, yo, I called my homeboy up. Like, we didn't have phones, so I was like yelling it out the window, yo, the man, you know, come over here, man. I gotta talk to you, man. You know, so he came over to my apartment, and he was like, yo, what's up? He like, let's go to Art Institute. And he was like, man, I'm doing this physical therapist stuff. I was like, man, you can learn how to be an engineer and producer or something, man. You know, you do the music, I do the art. We can do something. He was like, okay, I drop out, we go, you know. And we did it, and it was awesome. We went to Atlanta, and I signed up. I came down here to check out the Art Institute, and me being a hardhead, I caught another case while I'm down here, just on the trip, you know. So I was like, oh, I'm in some more trouble. So I knew I had to really think on my toes when I get in front of this judge. But he was kind of upset with me, but he was like, you in school? I was like, I got into school, you know, I've been working, and at this time I had to get a real job, so nobody wouldn't hire me. I was kind of bad. So I started a landscape business. And I started going to people's yards and cutting grass and planting flowers, and I was going to nursing homes, and I would go in the woods and get some box turtles and bring them in to their little aquarium thing I made for them. Just trying to make some money, man, and and it worked. It worked out, and I made enough money, for me to do my thing, and I ended up moving to Atlanta in '94. I was 19 at the time, me and my boy Demaine, and I was like, yo, I got to make some money, man. And the first person that walked in to get a tattoo from me was Usher Raymond. And Usher was like, he was 16 at the time. His mom was like, don't you tattoo my baby, And I was like, hey, I need this $60, man, I mean, I need this $60 bad, man. So I got my $60. And I tried to get it. I was like, yo, this is good, man. I went to Kroger's, right, to get some food for my friends and stuff, because I was the only one making money. And I told my mom I saved up some money to move to Atlanta, and I only had like $250. And I told her I had like $2,500. And I knew she'd be worried about me. I didn't want her to worry about a baby, so I was like, yo, I got some money. I only had like $250 plus the 60 from Usher. And I got enough. That was enough to get me a pager and some business cards. And that was it. I was like, my mom was struggling, so I couldn't call home like, Mom, I need food, I need this. So, in college, you talk to the ugly girls to get food, You do what you guys do. I mean, for real, be honest with you, you got to be real. I mean, honest survival tactics, you're like, okay, she don't have a boyfriend right now, and I know she got some food, So we had to do our hustle on, man. And at this time, I was like, I got to get an apprenticeship because this little money wasn't the move. And me being from projects, I was a little rough under the edges. So I was calling shops up in alphabetical order in the yellow pages, like, I wanna learn how to tattoo, man. They like, nah, click, click, click. And I got down to W's in West End Tattoo, and Julia Fonzo was like, she was the owner at West End at the time. She was like, come on in, just come in. And I came in, and I was confident. I had a nice portfolio. And she put my portfolio out looking at it, and I'm smiling hard because I'm excited to be in a tattoo shop. Like, oh, man, I might get this, She was like, this shit is crap. This is horrible. If you want an apprenticeship, you can't show no one this. I was like, cool. I put it up, She was like, no, threw it in the trash. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm scared now. I'm nervous, but I had to take it. Just imagine, being from Asheville, North Carolina. And I grew up, Asheville's not the hippie place. It's all hippie and hipster now, but it wasn't like that when I was growing up. It was really racist as shit. And it was really racist. So to have I can be realistic, my relationship with white people at the time wasn't, I was scared of y'all, because everyone I met always just called me a nigga growing up. Like, no, nigger, you can't come in my restaurant, no, this and that. It was really like that in the 90s still. And I was like, oh, so I was really kind of nervous to be in front of her. And then when she, she was really mean. She was a biker. I was like, oh, man, I'm in some trouble. But at the same time, I had to humble myself, and I had to take the abuse of apprenticeship, The apprenticeship was 3 years long. And it was hard, man. Like, I'm used to being in the streets, and I ain't used to nobody telling me to clean a toilet. I'm not used to nobody, like, screaming at me. You know what I'm saying? And it was hard work. Like, if you're doing a tattoo, and she used to do this thing like, oh, that tattoo is beautiful. It's beautiful, which means that shit is ugly. You messing up. She would compliment you because it was in front of a customer. She was like, I don't like that. And she know what it meant, but she'd be like, oh, that's so beautiful. Look at those beautiful lines. Look at those beautiful, that means your lines are shaky. You know what I'm saying? She would get on you. And if you really, really, really she's not feeling that tattoo, she would get off her customer, take off her gloves, put on your gloves, and she would make you stand up and put your hands behind your back, and you would watch her tattoo your customer. Then you had to wrap her up and apologize. So it was real humbling. It was really embarrassing and real humbling. And she was like, one day, I used to think, because I got a partner named Tukey, and I was like, why you like Tukey better than me, man? She was like, you're going to be the owner. You're going to be the business person. I'm going to be harder on you because you're going to have to understand how to, when you have your own apprentices, your own employees, Now I got 16 employees today. And that's weird, because I hate to be the boss of anybody, But fast forwarded to City of Ink. We opened City Ink up 8 years ago. And we decided Atlanta was a beautiful place to do this kind of start a subculture, you know. We came from a biker background. I came from the biker background of tattooing and the old school ways. And we wanted to create something completely different, fully custom. And we tried before to open up other shops to do full custom, but at the time, people wasn't grasping the concept what custom ink was at the time, which is a one of a kind design to contour your body shape, your skin tones, everything, you know? And people just didn't grasp that concept, and it took patience. My man Soul, you know, he was there. He saw the process. It was a long way, so we had to come up with a way. How can we get people to understand this? And Atlanta's flashy and materialistic, and a lot of superficial bullshit sometimes. So what we did was like, okay. That means we can't. Let's stop wearing white T-shirts and Air Force Ones, and let's cut our hair, and let's try to appeal to the nice people, you know. So we honestly, I had locks down on my ass, man. I cut my hair off. All our friends cut our hair off. We stopped dressing a certain way, and it worked. I hate to say it was mostly our image that attracted people to us. You know, it was kind of crazy. Then the days of MySpace came, so we can kind of show our lifestyle a little bit more. You know, everybody know we smoke weed and have fun and create art. You know, so people like, oh, I like that, and we use that to grasp our following. Honestly, just the lifestyle of it. You know, and at the same time, like some people might say, that's, you know, oh, that's messed up. But at the same time, we snuck in jewels on them. You know, we didn't. And, you know, you can be preachy all day, but if you don't you can preach, and mama don't want to hear that, you know. But if you can kind of sneak in a little bit of something in the middle of chaos and the stuff that we go on in the world, you can really help a couple of people. And now I'm working on our second location, about to open up an art gallery. You know, and it's all from tattoo money. I started City Ink with $300. It was an abandoned building. It was like nobody wouldn't rent us a building now. I don't want no tattoo shop in my neighborhood. So we was like, what are we gonna do? We found this abandoned building, and the landlord was like, didn't believe us. He was like, man, whatever, just give me some months rent. If you can fix this building up, I give you 6 months. 'Cause that's how bad it was. It was like, we got 6 months to get this building. You got to pay us for 6 months. So I went on the road. I didn't know if anybody knew me because, you know, most artists live in their own little creative bubble, don't know anything about outside world or outside their friends, anything. So I didn't know. So I was like, I got $300, and I got to try to get up the first and last month's rent. And he going to give us 6 months for free to fix the building up? Yeah. So I got on the road for like 4 months toward the East Coast. And I raised from $300. I used that $300 to get a plane ticket on AirTran for $99. I never forget that. And then I used the $200 to get me a little hotel room in Brooklyn. And I tattooed my first client, which was like $800. Sent home $400 to get wood, and I kept the $400. And the rest is history. We worked on that building. I went all over the East Coast. Saved up a little money. I kept 50% for myself, 50% back to my boys so they can buy maybe a piece of wood, a towel. We didn't have a bathroom, so we had to buy a toilet, some plumbing. We was doing it really then illegal because the building was abandoned, so it was all stuff in front of the windows. So we just used Home Depot books and just built it like a clubhouse. And it worked because it's based off love. The whole entire building was based off love. All our friends was in there working. We never did no stuff like this before. You know, we built the walls, we built the floor. We had a ceiling. And we had windows. And when we cut the boards off, we had windows. So we was lucky. We didn't have to buy any windows or anything like that. But we did everything ourselves, tattoo per tattoo. It wasn't no banks wouldn't give us any help. We had drug dealers coming to us like, yo, we invest. We were like, no. Nah, we can do this. We can do it. We can handle it, you know. So we ended up doing it solo dolo, you know. And it was just between, you know, me and my friends, man. And when we opened up, we did our first show. It was called Xenophobia. It was the fear of new ideas. And the first day that show, I was so scared. I'm always nervous before our shows. You can ask my friend, I'll be about to throw up. I'll be so scared, man. I'll be nervous. And next thing you know, all these people showed up. And we didn't slow down ever since. It's just been running, man. And after that, I just my whole thing was like I was feeling so thankful. And I just wanted to give opportunities for everybody else. Like people is struggling out here. People out here hurting. And you gotta be thankful for the little things you got. So I was like, man, if I can give a little opportunity to certain people. And I got my apprentices now, like I'm proud of my apprentice, Corey Davis. He was my apprentice for 3 years. And I had Paper Frank. I don't know if you're familiar with him. My apprentice for 3 years. And look what he's doing now. Like the doors of opportunity was open. And same way that Julia gave me the opportunity, I just had to return the blessing in some way. And it just made me feel a little better. I'm not one big on like name and getting in front of people to talk, but if I have to do that, maybe it's gonna inspire someone else in the long run. That's pretty dope, man. That's it. Thank you.
Man, that was so good. That was so great. So we'll do a little Q&A now. I'll kick us off with a question. If you have a question, raise your hand, and I'll run this microphone to you so the video will record it. So, and Maya can just call on whoever. First question, though, Atlanta is such a diverse city. And specifically in the creative or art scene, what do you hope is on the horizon for the city?
I hope to see the city understand when I came here in the 90s, it was because of the music scene. It was LaFace Records. Everybody need graphic artists. Everybody need album covers and stuff. And now the music scene is all watered down and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I think if the mayor is smart, he can use the creative community to bring more revenue into the city. Let the artists do murals in the city. Let that be an attraction. Pay these artists to do it, because if they don't pay them, they're going to do it anyway and mess up your building. So pay them. Pay these guys. Create some jobs, My whole thing is to see more of all people of all races and backgrounds and sex, and everybody come together and doing these shows so it's more of a rainbow looking effect, all these different skin tones. I'm tired of going to art shows and be like, oh, all white people here, all black people here. It's just so segregated. I'm tired of seeing that. That's crap. That's crap. I don't like the division. Any more questions somewhere? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, thank you. You said that your shop was built on love.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. A couple of friends of mine, like everybody got friends who don't do nothing. They try, you love them, you can't help but love them. They're your boys, your friends, So I was like, I'm not the type of person to give people, like, can I borrow some money? Or, I'm like, can you work for it? You can work for it. So, like I say, I started seeing with $300. And we just flipped it out. And we just had a landlord who believed in us at the time. He was like, yo, man, I'll give you the building. I don't know if he believed it or he just thought it was some quick money and he didn't think we was going to take the building to do it. But what we did was I would dream. I'm a dreamer. So I dreamed about how this building would look. I was like, dang, we need a floor. We didn't have a floor. So it was like, dang, that's how much it's going to cost? Okay, I know a cheap way to do it. My friends were like, let's do a checkerboard hardwood floor. We just cut wood up. We stain one this color, stain one that color, make a checkerboard and screw it down. Then slack it up. And it worked, And it was basically love because I couldn't pay anybody. I was doing a tattoo for the guy. I didn't know how to do it. We tried to do the electric ourselves and about killed ourselves. So it was like, we need somebody that can do the electric for us. So I did tattoos, in barter, in exchange of, for someone to do the electric. Or, I didn't have enough pipes to do that. So someone like, yo, I got some extra pipes and stuff. Like, I tattoo for it, you give me the pipes, and we can build our own toilet. And we just had our friends in there doing it. It was basically love because we didn't have any money to offer nobody. And my friends couldn't help me with financially, so it was just basically love, piece by piece. And the clients that supported me knowing I was tattooing for a reason, not just the tattoo, but they was like, I'll support your dream, Like, I got to thank Baltimore and Washington, D.C. I was up there, and, man, it wasn't for those people, I wouldn't have a city in today, And I never forget that. Never. That's love. Here's a question right here. Who got the mic? I mean,
Yeah, I was just, I really liked what you said about tearing down some of the segregation, and I was just wondering if you could speak more to how you see that happening, or what are some pathways or ways of doing that?
I think it really just starts with the people. When you see these events like this, don't be scared. You don't feed into stereotypes. Just see for yourself. You know, a lot of times Atlanta's he say, she say, oh man, I'm not going over there. I'm not doing that. Blah, blah, blah. Just go see it for yourself before you, pass judgment. You know, like we got right now, we having a closing to our 8th year anniversary. Is Enough is Enough Part 2. And that's this Saturday at City of Ink Castleberry Hill, and 7 to 11. And the artwork is political. It's about enough is enough. About, like you say, the country is divided right now. You know, you can have any opinion you want, but it's still divided. You know, and it's time to just unify a little bit more. And I think it starts with the people just reaching out and just talking to your fellow man. Like every day I walk. You know, I make money, but I walk every single day, 4 miles a day, not for my health or not because I want to stay in shape, because I think a lot of times as artists, we drift off into our own world and our own reality, and we forget struggle. You know, I seen a couple of artist friends of mine who make money, and they forget where they come from. They struggle. So I got to see homeless people. You know, I got to listen to their opinion. I got to know their mistakes so I don't make the same mistakes. I want to hear the wisdom. You know, I'm humble myself to shut up and listen to some people sometime. You know, and I think that's what we all need to do. You know, you can learn something from a man that's lower class, so-called lower class than you are. Just listen and, help somebody sometime. I think that's the only way we can do it. It starts with us. It's just listening and taking time to have understanding about why a person is in that situation. Any more questions somewhere? I got two there. Okay.
Yeah, I was curious if you can talk a little bit more about, like when you were describing your story, you talked a lot about the hustle, which I interpret as just, trying to make ends meet in that time. But then there was this point in your story where you described this custom ink idea, which was kind of new and revolutionary. And it just, I'm kind of curious, like your commitment to that when it didn't sound like it was necessarily profitable to begin with. Like, can you talk more about that?
Yeah, it was 92. I was 17, and like I said, I was at this. I just kept the word tattoo kept coming up, and it was more my interest in African art at the time. It was more of that because I was reading about this tribe called the Nuba, and if you was doing cattle, you would have a cow tattooed on you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever you was a warrior, you had some warrior symbol, and I thought that was just beautiful. Just the people and that culture was beautiful. So I almost broke. So I can't be real. I'm gonna be real. I used to steal books from the library, and I stole a book from Don Ed Hardy called Tattooing, and he broke down all these different styles of tattooing, from tribal to new school. This was beginning of new school coming into tattooing, and this was the era when tattooing was known for being a biker-owned business to real artists coming into tattooing and changing it, and Don Ed Hardy was creating, not Ed Hardy, the guy who not the T-shirt shit, not the bull, just the real guy, and he wrote this book about explaining the different styles, and I was like, wow, but it kind of left us out, and I felt bad about that. It kind of stuck to me, like I was lucky to see all these things. You had the Polynesian style, you had your Japanese style, you had the traditional style, but it wasn't nothing that represented my people or the Latino community at that time. And I was just like, that shit is kind of wrong. So my dream then was like, I want to be the black Don, Ed Hardy. I want to introduce these styles. And that's my whole thing. I wanted to create new styles, not stereotypicals, not the crosses, not the praying hands, not the cliche stuff. I wanted to bring something new. So just imagine if you was trying to fast forward a culture 10 years. First thing you got to do is introduce them to the culture, not this kind of, and I was young and I was ambitious, and my mentor was like, they're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. Slow it down. Do some names. Do some stuff that introduce them to it. They get familiar with it. Then you sneak in your stuff. And the hustle I was doing at the time, I was broke. I was selling guns. I was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I was doing a lot of bad stuff. And so the older I got, the more conscious I got it with myself and saying like, man, I'm not really helping my community. And so I said it's a certain point when I was all losing my friends to death and jail and drugs. So I was like, you know what? I have to dedicate the rest of my life I took so much away from my community. It's now trying to give back in some way. So I use tattooing as a way to create jobs and opportunities for people that can't go out and put their work in galleries. Then you might like their tattoos, then eventually you might like their paintings, and they start purchasing their paintings to get them in a higher class of art. And it kind of worked out, It worked out.
Let's do one more question. I think she wants to ask the question.
Good morning, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be in front of everybody this morning for Creative Mornings. I just have to say that I think the power of social media is brilliant to be able to bring this many people together to see Mr. Miya Bailey today. Can I get a round of applause for him, please? I've been a big fan of Miya Bailey for a really long time, and on the 20th of April, 2012, I tweeted to him, on my list of things to do in the A is to meet the talented and revered Miya Bailey. He tweeted back to me, make it a reality, and I'm here to say today that I did that very thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have 3 very important questions for you. The first is, what is your favorite art medium? Having done so many different forms of art, film, as well as photography, as well as illustration, what is your favorite way to express yourself?
I'm gonna honest. I like film a lot. It's always been a passion of mine. I just didn't have the avenues to do it. Now I do, and I'm creating a new one right now. But film is, I think because of the attention span of today's Americans is like really low. So it's like you don't have to read anything; you just look at it and get it, and then feel it. It seems like it's direct to the brain, straight to the brain. And outside of film, I probably would say painting and pen and ink work. I love illustration work, and when I'm painting, it's more of I'm freeing myself without overthinking something. You don't have to be so clean. You don't have to be so pretty. It's just pure emotion. When I'm doing illustration work, it's really just to shine a show out. I like the competitive side of like, I guarantee the lines ain't gonna be strong as my lines, or like this. I like that part of illustration work. It's more of a technical show out type of thing, and paint is more of a relaxation type of thing.
Yeah, that's dope. How do you use social media to appeal to Atlanta's indie art scene?
Like I said, the attention span is low, so I use social media. I remember when MySpace came out, people just using it to hook up with people or show some music or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what if I don't show no pictures of myself and just post pictures of tattoos to see if it worked? Because while everybody else posting pictures of, their butts and stuff, if I posted pictures of tattoos, at least if I can reach 10,000 people, right. Maybe out of 10,000 people, maybe 1,000 would like my stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was on from there. What's your look with Tumblr? Because I know that you really use Tumblr a lot. And Miya Bailey. I use my name on everything. I'm on YouTube. Anything social media wise. Mm-hmm. I don't do MySpace. But I got an old MySpace page still up somewhere probably. I don't know. But Miya Bailey, my name, it's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everything.
Okay, so my last question is, after releasing Color Outside the Lines, do you intend to break more into film and video, and what do you expect that it will bring?
Yeah, I'm working on one right now. And it's really, I'm doing a film right now based off the 4 periods of my life. So the oldest drawings my mom kept was from 1979. I was 4 years old. So it's more of a personal thing. I'm not going to put it online. I'm going to sell it as a art piece. It's going to come in a box set. It's going to be a soundtrack. I'm going to tell y'all first, Big Crit is doing the soundtrack, if y'all know Big Crit. Yeah, it's like my little brother, and he's doing the score. And it's going to be really bluesy and real, because it's not, my story is a positive one at the end, but it wasn't a positive one from the start, And I just want to be honest. I want people to be able to, I'm at a point in my life, I don't care if a person like me or not. I'm not in a popularity contest. So I want people to watch this film to see what type of human being I am. You can make your decisions about me after you watch it, Because I think everybody can change in some way.
All right, let's give Miya another round of applause. That's so good.